Hey everyone, Bianca here. I'm a traditional artist who usually works with coloured pencils, but I tried digital art for the first time. Now I'm going to show you my 4 attempts at digital art and what I learned from each attempt. At the end of the video, I'll give you my feelings on digital art as a whole. What you're watching right now is my first attempt at drawing a portrait. For this attempt, I played around with different layers and brushes and tried to understand how these new tools work. I don't think I need to say this, but digital drawing is nothing like traditional drawing. I felt like I had no control over my pen, and it was like I was learning to draw all over again. For this first portrait, I had this big idea in my head for an OC. She was going to be a teenage princess in the apocalypse, with a very simple crown, a black metallic mask and a hoodie. Needless to say, it didn't turn out the way I planned. She was missing life, and she looks more like a plastic doll than a person. There are so many reasons for this, but the biggest reason, I think, is that everything is too smooth. I couldn't get the same textures that I can with my colored pencils. This comes from a lack of practice with digital art. And don't even get me started on the hair. For my second attempt, I wanted to create an OC with a stylized realism. I decided to hold back on the accessories and focus just on the face. I wanted to create a face that looked more alive than my first attempt. Bit of advice: if you're doing something stylized, figure out the style before you start drawing. I discovered the true power of the liquify tool halfway through and went slightly overboard. Just a bit. And I also redrew the hair about 50 times. While I think that this portrait came out better than my first attempt, I still wasn't happy with it. So for my next attempt, I wanted to make something more simple, but something that I could be happy with. This time, I used a photo of Stone Katic as a reference, and I just knew that I wanted to draw her standing in front of a mirror. At first, I started to draw the rest of the room in the mirror, but I thought it looked very dull and it didn't match the style of the rest of the drawing. I wanted to add some colour, but without being too distracting, and yet still draw some attention to the mirror. So I erased everything in the mirror and decided to draw flowers on the mirror instead. But while this drawing was fun to do, and I am pretty happy with it, it's not the style I typically draw in. Realism is still by far my favourite, and what I want to achieve in digital art. So now that I had a bit more experience with digital drawing, I decided to draw Arwen from The Lord of the Rings using a reference. While this drawing is far from perfect, I am happy with the progress I've made when I compare it to my previous attempts. And I hope that in the future, with practice, my digital art will improve further. Overall, I love digital art. It's a lot quicker to produce. Each of these drawings took me about 5 hours to create, whereas my coloured pencil drawings take me about 60 to 90 hours. I know, I'm slow. I also find it a lot more forgiving than traditional art, and I feel like I have a lot more freedom. If I don't like something, I can just delete it, and so I can explore many different ideas. Does this mean I'm giving up traditional art? Never. I know that some people may think that this is ridiculous and will never understand, but I will never give up traditional art for the same reason that I will always buy physical books over ebooks. Nothing can beat the sensation of the physical feel, look, and even smell of traditional art, but this is my completely subjective, biased opinion. Truth is, I love both art styles for very different reasons.